All right, everybody, we are back at it again with another StarCraft Underground match. So this match took place between StyX and iamsacul, who you've also seen. There was another video where iamsacul has made an appearance, and this is the same tournament as well, right? So this still continues on with the #1 Brood War tournament that we've got going on with StarCraft Underground. And if you don't know what StarCraft Underground is, which you likely do if you've been directed to this channel, but it's basically just a league, very casual, that hosts Brood War and StarCraft 2 tournaments. But the big thing is that it's very flexible timing, right? So like every round, you have a week to schedule that with your opponent, and then there's multiple brackets always going on at one time, so it doesn't get stale, right? Like while you're waiting for another match, you can be playing in another tournament, so on, so forth. One thing that's still not shaken out of the system is the fact that skill disparity, right? So while we're doing these first tournaments, everyone has to earn their right to kind of level up. And so we are getting a mix of kind of like people that are new to the game going against people that are really, really good at the game. But that will kind of level out as the tournaments go and people kind of promote in levels and start being seeded appropriately in tournaments, and we'll have much more appropriate matches. But this match was recommended. This is, like I said, StyX being in the top right Zerg against iamsacul, who's the Protoss in the bottom left. And this is on the map Polypoid, right? So it's a 4-player map. In each of these corners are the spawn points. And right now we are seeing a cross spawn with StyX and iamsacul. So I'll go ahead and turn off the entire map, but I wanted to point that out. The maps are predetermined for these matches, and this match is actually a second round match, right? So StyX and iamsacul have both succeeded in their first rounds, and so they're playing each other in the winners bracket here. And right now we are going to be seeing iamsacul with a direct scout cross spawn that led directly to StyX. So he's going to get kind of an early identification, know that there's no crazy 4-pool or anything that's going on, and that there is an expansion going down at the natural. Not sure if he spotted the spawning pool, but noting that the expansion's there and not being immediately attacked by Zerglings, he's going to be able to watch these two pop out. I think he's pretty aware, with this number of drones. Everything's pretty standard so far from StyX. Now StyX, he does have his Overlord flying around, kind of went through this kind of route. He's got another one going down to the south. I expect that, either this drone or these Zerglings are going to start poking around to check the actual spawn locations ahead of the Overlords, as the Overlords just keep an eye out for any kind of early pressure, check proxy locations that may be occurring, etc. Pretty standard stuff. And right now we are going to see two Zealots kind of run towards StyX. He's going to see those with both the Zerglings and the Overlord. And the Zerglings are opt to just run by. And so iamsacul does look like he's going to maybe bring those home. Oh, change his mind a little bit. Doing a little bit of a juke and heading back. Now, these Zerglings aren't going to get much done. We're seeing that wall kind of get completed. Maybe like a gap up here. But we do have the Forge Gateway Pylon going down. And iamsacul is also getting his natural expansion. Now the two Zealots, they didn't push all the way across, so they aren't going to see this third popping up if they were toying around with maybe checking that out. But StyX is taking a third base right off the bat. And continuing Ling production. He's got a decent amount of Lings. But cannon going down for iamsacul combined with... Looks like he's plugging this hole with the Zealots. This is a pretty tough thing to break. Another hole down here being plugged by a Zealot. I see at least 5, 6, 7, 8 Zerglings. I don't... My Brood War math, and especially my Protoss versus Zerg math, isn't the strongest, but I think this is pretty solid. Like, I don't think these Zerglings are going to be doing anything particularly crazy here. He has not flown an Overlord in or around or poked in at all to see what's going on, but luckily... Nothing particularly crazy, and he may just be waiting. He's got his, Zergling speed going on before he tries to do any type of poke. I say that, and then he immediately pokes in with a few just to see what's happening. Does end up drawing the Zealots. We do have one kind of veering off to the right, maybe checking for any type of counterattack while these ones are being drawn away. That is going to be caught by StyX, and this Zealot will surely go down. They did leave a hole here, though. There was one Zealot here in the cannon There may have been a world where he could have gotten those speed zealots through here, but opting to play conservatively, took the zealot out. And good to go. Pretty standard early skirmish. More Zerglings on the way. Overlord on the way. It does look like both players a little supply blocked at the time. And just powering up. Whoa, that was kind of a cool Zergling explosion that StyX just pulled there. He had these Zerglings kind of traveling north and just blasted out a bunch of them all over the map. I don't know if that was to look for proxies or look for just any type of activity on the map. But he didn't see anything and he decided to group them all back up. Right outside the natural. Make sure the Protoss doesn't start marching out and doing anything crazy or surprising. We do have +1 weapons starting for our Protoss player, along with a litany of other things to include Corsairs. So imagine this Corsair is going to pop out, start trying to snipe some Overlords. We do have a Spire going down as well for StyX. That is going down in the main. So getting the layer tech up, opting for Spire, likely acknowledging that Corsairs are almost a given around this time against Zerg. And sure enough, there we see it. Decides not to go for this Overlord. Does see all the Zerglings though, so it does get a decent count of what's going on outside his natural. And he's opting to kind of get a full scout off, it looks like. He is going to be seeing this 4th hatchery go down here. Still not I don't think he's confirmed that this base exists yet. Sees the Spire. And so he knows that he can be expecting, you know, Scourge or potentially Mutalisks coming out in some form. He did see that there was no extra gas here. I don't know exactly, like I said, what the math looks like there, but that might be a little bit of a tell of like the number of Mutalisks that you may see. StyX opting to go for Scourge. Has 6 Scourge out. This Overlord gets smacked around by this Corsair. We'll see if these Scourge can make something happen. Good reaction time there by iamsacul. He must have been watching that as it was shooting the Overlord. Now these Scourge are going to go in and get a scout. Sees a couple gateways, see the starport. Doesn't see anything too crazy. Do have a Templar Archives though. Another cannon going down. That's likely out of fear of potential Mutalisk harass, keeping the Corsairs home as well. Not sure when you know, Scourge might try to surprise him, so keeping him by the cannons makes a lot of sense. Very defensive. He sees these Scourge just chilling. Now these Scourge chilling here is a problem for anyone that wants to produce something out of this, right? At least until this cannon gets up. You make something out of this, Scourge just immediately react and blow it up. Super frustrating. We do have Storm on the way. So once Storm is... Oh, shoot, I didn't even see this going down. Once Storm ends up showing up, these unupgraded, you know, Zerglings are going to have some issues. Now, he is pushing out with a good amount of Zealots here. This is a pretty decent amount as well. We do have Hydralisk technology up and running. We do have the attack range, and then also Overlord speed coming up. And the Zealots just immediately veer north, so they go straight north to this base, which is not just a lonely expansion, but actually going to, you know, be the home of where most of the production is going to be taking place, with 3 hatcheries here. This pure Hydralisk force, you know, using what he can in between these buildings to limit the surface area of these Zealots. But they're really struggling and buying time. Luckily, some reinforcements arrive. Does look like that's going to help. In this whole thing, though, thankfully for StyX, I don't think he's lost many drones. I didn't see what the drone count was before this attack started, but he's sure been losing a lot of Hydralisks. This is rough. Like, having some sort of barrier, at least from my understanding of, you know, getting some Zerglings around this to keep the separation between the Hydralisks and the Zealots definitely helps. But these Zealots with the +1 weapons are doing work. Does get cleaned up, though. So, good on StyX. All cleaned up. Getting extra energy for the Templars. I think that we're going to be seeing pretty heavy Storm play, as we have 2 more High Templars coming out. Hydralisks look like they're just kind of grouping back. You know, and I love this with Corsairs. Corsairs just force Overlords to go hide. Especially without, you know... Oh, shoot! We have a Dark Templar coming up here. Oh, I wonder if StyX saw that with the body block, the unintentional body block. Doesn't look like it. It looks like the Hydralisks are still going down, trying to potentially maybe start a bust. Does look like he has lurkers being formed, but right here we've got 2 drones. Oh, but he's got the Overlord that just popped out, so he's going to see it. The Hydralisks are going to get some good spits on it. And this dude's getting the hell out of dodge. So he's running away, still not dead. Oh, that's a sweet spot. Look at that, you can barely see that thing. It's not selected. But the Overlord does see it. Probably pops up a nice orange dot or something on the mini-map. He comes back, cleans up that Dark Templar. That was pretty sweet, though. And I don't know if he... It doesn't look like he's making any more. He just made that one, kind of snuck it up there after seeing, hey, bunch of hatcheries, bunch of, you know, Hydralisks. What else can I get done? And we do have an observer. So seeing the Hydratech and like how deeply StyX is going into it, you know, the lurkers are shortly following after. Getting the observer, definitely strong. I don't know how many there are on the map, but having at least one with the main force is going to help a lot. And, you know, the great thing, you know, about having Storm as well is you don't necessarily need the observer. I mean, it definitely helps for the rest of the army, but you can still just storm out those lurkers. Storm going down only gets 1 Hydra, so good reaction time by StyX. Get those guys out of dodge. We have 4 lurkers morphing here in the middle. And it looks like iamsacul is secured and is likely going to start saturating this 3rd base and also getting up a 4th. Scourge hiding out here. Not really playing much. I don't know. I haven't seen the Corsairs in a while. But I think they're probably just still chilling somewhere. I don't know if maybe they got knocked out. Alright, we do have a big engagement here in the middle. Storm kind of whiffs, but it is doing a good job with the size of this army and the amount of High Templars in pushing StyX back. So StyX is still on 3 bases. Okay, and he's got it all burrowed up here. So he's definitely sealing off kind of this avenue of approach. Overlord does go down. And it looks like iamsacul is kind of seeing if StyX will attack into him. Great storm there. It seemed like that storm was the exact shape of what the Hydralisk formation looked like. And I think these are on hold position. Alright, yeah, so he just triggered them. They got huge blasts on these Zealots, but not getting enough, it looks like. This looks like a pretty unfavorable... And that's what I was talking about with the storm, right? You can just storm these guys into oblivion. Oh, man, the Hydralisks are melting to these. Very strong engagement by iamsacul. A lot more Hydralisks showing up, though, and it does look like they're trying to target down some of these High Templars. And quickly morphs them into Archons, which is great. I love that trick. I also love it when Hydralisks morph into Lurkers when they're super low. If you can micro it correctly. Especially when that egg creates like a body block situation that's favorable. Like morphing a couple here on the ramp to buy some time. So you can knock out these cannons. Well, that was cool. That was just a straight up drive-by screw you cannons. So knocked that out. These guys are probably going to get cleaned up here, though. Their pathing is going absolutely insane in this little pocket. And we have another fight going on up here in the north. We do see another Dark Templar and a huge storm almost single-handedly knocking out that entire attack and then morphing into an Archon before they die. Right now, iamsacul is in a very commanding position. Now, it does look like StyX might be trying to secure this for a 4th base. Well, he has this one going. They're all mineral base. So I guess that'll be his 4th. But a huge push here. Now, I like the lurkers on the high ground. Especially, like, kind of down here where they can quickly flex to either avenue of approach. But this is a lot of firepower. And these Zealots, you know, +2 attack is huge. Do have Carapace coming up for the Zerg. Right now just sitting on +1 ranged. Okay, I'm hearing it. Okay, there it is. Okay, so we do have this base right here, this, you know, wanting to be base, that ends up just mining a mineral and running away. Does look like it's going to be denied. Couple lurker eggs, like we were talking earlier. And right here, this is the push that StyX needs to find a way to defend. We have Archons just shredding, tanking a lot of damage. That hatchery does go down. These lurkers have been putting in some work, though. Even survives the storm there. We've got a sandwich of the Hydralisk coming from the 3rd. Hydralisk coming from the natural. But the supply is just insane. The supply being double of the Zerg players for the Protoss. And a lot of Zealots have gone down, but the Dragoons and the Archons... Now, no Storms here, but it does still seem to be enough. And so StyX is going to call GG, and that's game 1 of this series. This is awesome. This is good times. And this is what it looks like. So, I mean, I think the other casts I've done, I think we're like first matches or whatever. This is a sweet, you know, next round kind of leveling up what we're looking at here. So let's go ahead, exit this replay, and let's go into the game 2. And that was Polypoid. I think this next one is on Dominator. All right, so yeah. This is totally Dominator. I'll go ahead and show the map real quick, just so we can talk about it briefly. So right here in the 9 o'clock, or I'm sorry, 3 o'clock position. Trust me, I can tell time. We do have our Protoss, right? So our Protoss is going to be chilling here in the 3 o'clock location. StyX, our Zerg hero, coming off that last loss, he's going to be down here in the 7 o'clock position. Now, Dominator is a super cool map in the sense that it's 3-player, which is a lot of fun. So you have the spawn over here, the spawn down here, and then the spawn up here, which has like all these weird critters and stuff. And they also put the double little like minerals there as well. So you got to mine them out, so you can't just like do some weird... Actually, I'm not even sure I've ever noticed that before. That's how like new I am to Brood War. There's probably some reason so that you can't just float like a command center over there or something. I don't know. But anyway, also weird about this map is the fact that these mains are kind of like on low ground, or I guess even ground, but the thing is to leave it, you got to go up into the natural, right? So the natural is a really powerful spot as to attack from, in addition to just this huge areas that are located kind of in the tops of these two and the bottom of this one, that allow for some like drop shenanigans, vision where tanks can shoot over and things like that. I think they can. I don't think there's any like weird blockers there. So right now we do have our Zerg hero sending over an Overlord to the correct base location. iamsacul has been opting to do kind of like forward built gateways, at least we saw in the last map, kind of get that early wall off. And so I think that's going to be spotted first. And so he's going to get a nice early scout on where his opponent is on this 3-base map. And he's sending a drone as well. iamsacul sending out his probe, realizing that there's at least not an expansion up here, which means one of two things. One, it's not his place. See, like those things went away. So I don't know what the deal was there. The minerals and the critters. That's new to me. I'm going to have to research what the heck that was all about. Anyway, they're gone. But we also realized that... he's not there. So he knows where he is, but he doesn't know what he's doing. But right now it does look pretty much the same as last time. I think it was like a 10 pool, 9 pool. We've got Zealots on the way. I'm wondering if he's going to go straight into a Nexus or if he's going to get a gas or whatever. I don't know. I don't know Protoss builds. Maybe it's just Cybernetics core time. Beats me. You go ahead and educate me, guys. What do you got going on? Where are you going? Alright, so he is opting for the Nexus. So he's going to get that quick expansion up. Hatchery also going up at the natural. Probe is seeing it. He might have been waiting for this scout, actually. I didn't see like the coordination there, but it kind of just looked like when he could afford it, he dropped this immediately after Gateway. And we do have a good amount of lings coming over. So this time, different than last time, there's not much of a substantial wall here yet. And so these two Zealots can do work, but these lings, though they don't have speed, they can still run around and be a little bit annoying. You know, I think proper micro, he might be able to at least maybe get this probe, run down here and get a couple others if he wants to focus probes down. Alright. These guys are going to get whacked if they don't run away, but they can send these Zealots on a wild goose chase. And it's good because StyX is doing this and he's still like making drones at home and everything. Yeah, so he got a little bit of damage. He also got a completely full scout, right? So he's seeing the expansion. He didn't get to see this forge with the Zerglings, but he's got so many Overlords flying around that he feels comfortable taking a third base right now. So very standard, very typical of what we saw last match. Got the cannon going down. Nice little wall kind of section here. I think this is the only gap. I suck when it comes to Brood War walls. They're, in my opinion, overly complicated with just how the game is kind of clunky with their building placement and unit sizes and stuff. But it's fun to see how people do it. So he did this last time too. He kind of ran out with the Zealots and then ran back. I don't know if it was trying to spark a reaction. Maybe like if he runs out with Zealots and the Overlords catch it, it could force sunken construction or the delay of drones in the form of using larvae for Zerglings. But he did that last time too. He could have just also been looking for Zerglings that are just parked out here, not doing anything, which we saw last game as well. So if he checked his replay, he might have been like, okay, StyX has a tendency to drop a whole, you know, small army right there. Let me go out with a handful of Zealots to make sure I'm not kind of contained. A few more Zealots running across. We do see faster Hydralisk tech this time. So last time StyX did go for the Spire. This time he's going straight for the Hydralisk Den while getting Zergling speed as well. Or at least I thought I saw Zergling speed up there. He's definitely got the Hydralisk speed being upgraded though. Yeah, it looks like they're cruising, so Zergling speed definitely complete. Is going to catch this probe. I'm kind of curious what that probe was up to, actually. He might just be keeping an eye on how far out the Zerg has expanded, whether they've gone up to these other bases. Because we're going to see this guy, he's probably going to poke down here. We'll see what this Zealot ends up doing. Okay, no, I've got no idea. Alright, and then over for iamsacul, like, he does have +1 melee going up. He's got a starport going up again. I imagine we're going to see Corsair play as well. Get those Corsairs out, start rushing all these Overlords out of the way. Alright, Zealot actually just walked in. I didn't see if he got any kills. Parks himself in this mega annoying location. Okay, I'm curious what the math is. So that's 1 Zergling, 2 Zerglings, 3 Zerglings. Okay, so he gets like 3.5, almost 4 Zerglings by just forcing them to come in relatively one at a time. Super annoying. Okay, pushing with a lot more Zealots. Getting some hits. Nothing crazy from either side. Just kind of poking each other. Oh, I heard it. There it is. Corsairs on the map. And this looks to be like the only Overlord that's kind of out there. Now, last time, as a response to the Corsairs, like, the Hydralisks weren't really out on the map yet in any sizable force, but they are now. And so I don't think it's going to be as effective in getting the Overlords as it was last time. As opposed to going to the Scourge play, he went early Hydralisks, and that seems to be relatively effective, or I expect it to be, if he pops some out here. Where did he end up hiding all of his Overlords? They're mostly kind of a couple up there. A whole bunch right there. But see, like, the Hydralisks are there and ready, and they just pop that Corsair. So we got the Hydralisk pushing here. He's target firing down this cannon. Gonna get the next one. These Zealots, though, definitely doing some cleanup work. iamsacul just decides, hey, screw it. I'm gonna drop down a whole bunch of them. Throws down 4 of them. And he got to see a little bit what was going on too, right? That was probably in reaction to seeing a bunch of Hydralisks here, another hatchery with his Corsair. So he's like, hey, I don't want to get a bust. Like, why not? Let's throw down a bunch of cannons. But StyX definitely having some opportunity for aggression this time. Last game, I don't think he had really gotten to this point where he was putting a threat on a gateway or a forge, let alone one that was in the middle of upgrading, right? Templar Archives has gone down. Likely going to start seeing some Storm play again. Dark Templar has been made. Storm being generated. High Templar being made. And right now we finally see StyX going for some layer play. So he did take down the gateway. Now, something that... okay, so there is another pylon. I was going to say, this is kind of a cool opportunity to just snipe a pylon and have all of these cannons go lights out. But iamsacul is too cool for that. He got another pylon up. But he is going to lose this forge. Now, again, when it comes to the walls, I'm not entirely sure how big these gaps are, or if like a Dragoon can make it through. But there was a good deal of Dragoons in the last game, and it looks kind of tough for just these Zealots to kind of sneak through, so I'm curious to see how well it works for Dragoons. The DT, I love it. He just kind of waltzes out here and just starts slashing these guys. Gets 3 before the Hydralisks react. And we do have some Overlords coming in to get some of that detection. There we go. DT down. And we also see a Robo Bay coming down here somewhere, and a whole gateway explosion. So I'm wondering if Reavers are the call here. Okay, so he's getting a shuttle. Oh, you know what? He might just storm drop. He might just do some storm drop on these bases. We've got Overlord movement and missile attacks being upgraded. I like this adjustment, though, to the Hydralisks earlier from StyX. I think it's really helping a lot with keeping Protoss contained. The Corsairs got effectively nothing. Okay, so we are getting Dragoon range, and we're getting some Observer. So, iamsacul definitely thinking ahead to, okay, the Lurkers are likely to make an appearance, and also, let's get some map vision. So, Observer's already being pumped out. So I was completely wrong about the Reaver play. This is definitely likely, in my opinion, to be more of a storm drop type situation. That Hydralisk sacrificing himself for the greater good. And with this cannon down, Dragoons can actually walk out now. But I'm curious. I want to watch the pathing here, because I'm curious if these guys can actually walk through here. Ooh, that does supply block StyX as well. He's got 3 more Overlords being built. Oh, that would have been a great snipe. Can he get up there and get it? He does. He does take a storm, though, but he does get rid of one of those High Templar, which is fantastic. In the last game, I actually was hoping there might be some Mutalisks, right? Just for the sheer purpose of sniping some of these guys. Storm's going to be knocking out one of the Lurkers, but only gets the surface area of 1. Oh my goodness. So many Hydralisks go down. That was a pretty good trade for iamsacul, in my opinion. Storm is just so scary. Storm is so good. Looks like we might be having a 4th base go up here. Love to see it. And just start taking over this map for the Zerg. Lots of Lurkers, lots of Hydralisks. This is getting to a scary amount. I'm liking the spread, too. So they're not all in one spot where they can just be stormed to oblivion in one shot. This, though, pretty tough to break. It'd be really cool. I don't know if it'd be good or not, but it'd be a cool move if we even got an Overlord drop, right? Like, drop some Lurkers up in here. Especially with how full that base is. Overlord goes down. I know there was a DT floating around. Don't know where he is now. He might be dead. Alright, nice little exchange here. More storms, more dead Hydralisks, but a lot of Lurkers. Now the Observer finally makes his way up. That is going to help these Dragoons get some of these shots off, but big old clump of Lurkers does a ton of damage. Okay, StyX is going to retreat. I think that's a good idea. I think this is time for a little bit of a regroup. I don't think iamsacul can push right now. And we do see that 4th base going up that we were talking about earlier. So we got missile attack also being upgraded. So that'll be up at a +2. Oh, that's that DT we were talking about. Oh my goodness. How many Overlords did he walk through? At least these 2. Or did the shuttle do it? Yeah, here's that shuttle. That was a good move. Very sneaky. But definitely taxing to like go back and like with your attention and everything knock that out. There's currently 0 drones mining in the main. And this is going to be combined with the push, right? So iamsacul taking more space, knocking out these Overlords, which are really kind of pesky, right? Like about to be maxed out, or I guess I should say supply blocked. And iamsacul is opting for this mineral base. He tends to like to do this, I've noticed, from the last game as well. As opposed to going straight to one of these, you know, expansions with the gas right off the bat, he plays it very methodically. All right, first I'm going to take this, I'm going to fortify it, I'm going to deflect, then I'm going to take this mineral, and then from there I'll use that as a launch pad. Like, he doesn't look like he wants to push yet until he knows he has all of the pieces that he needs to kill in one shot. All right, so we do have a Corsair back on the table. Corsair is going to be able to identify what's going on the map. Also is going to locate this fourth base. Hydralisk is going to see this army. We got a whole bunch of very nicely spread out lurkers and a couple of groups of Hydralisks on the flanks. I like the positioning in the pre-spread. That's awesome. I wonder if that's just a result of rallying or if it was deliberate. Okay, not much going to happen here. This Sunken and these lurkers are going to make quick work of these zealots, and that transfer is going to go unimpeded. Here we have a bunch of Hydralisks that are going to be able to fight this back. I don't think there's going to be anything happening here. The only thing that's really happening is that the Protoss player is getting to see it all. Now we are about to go into Spire and Hive Tech, so we're going to have to see what it is that our Zerg player decides to do. And then over here on the Protoss side, we do have upgrades going crazy. +1 ground weapons, +1 armor. We're going to get faster observers to keep up with the vast amount of lurkers, right? We got a couple observers with this main army here. And just so many High Templar. There's a whole litany of High Templar. Right now we got 7, I'm sorry, yeah, 7 on screen. And I'm curious as well if StyX is going to be able to snipe these quickly, or if we're going to see a lot more of those like last-minute Archon morphings. Okay, this Hydralisk, you know, group is going to see this large army, and he had poked in with the Zealots up here and like the Dragoons down here, and he knows that this is pretty lightly defended. But it does look like he's going to try to split right down towards the natural. Okay, just a couple little pokes here. Oh, that's what's going on. He's dealing with a small counterattack with those Hydralisks that were up here that saw the push out. They kind of looped around. So StyX now has an understanding of where iamsacul is at from an economy standpoint. And now he needs to hold this. His army, I feel like, is really spread out. But this is tough to come up as well, this ramp. And he's going to get some lurkers here on the flanks. Oh no, are they just going to run through? Oh, I feel like that was bad pathing. The Zealots are going to make quick work of these Hydralisks. The Zealots, gosh, Zealots are such a pain in the butt with ranged units. They just get up in your face and they're so tanky. These storms doing an absolute huge amounts of damage. Now the lurkers are in great spots right here, right? They're just kind of like around the periphery. As they take out one, there's another one behind it. They're doing great amount of damage. Now Zerglings everywhere. I love it. This is what we need to see. Like the Zealots had all been kind of taken out, and these Zerglings can now get in the face of all these Templar, all these Dragoons, and make life really tough for the Protoss. Okay, so that was a super strong push. But I think StyX is gonna hold this. If he can take out these Dragoons, like, I don't know how much more energy is left on these guys. There's a few more storms. And we're getting the morphs, okay? So, oh man, he needs another wave of Zerglings like he just had, ideally before these things were to come out. I don't know, this is actually, okay, this was strong. This was a really strong push. And I imagine what's going on over here is just, you know, macro central. Now we do have Consume coming up. So StyX looking to get some Defilers out here, which will definitely help against all the Dragoons. Very cool. Okay, one hatchery goes down. I know we were up in the 60s for drones, so a decent amount of drones did get knocked out, but overall he kept his bases, and he's been able to expand to another one. So I think we still have a game here. I think we're still okay. StyX has a lot of money to drone up or to, you know, throw into his army, and I think he'll be good to go. Right now he's got his Defilers going. Now what I'm a little unsure on is what our lurker count looks like. Alright, so he gets Plague researched. He's going to try to deny this, whatever time this is, what, 5 o'clock? This 5 o'clock expansion, but it's going to get immediately reinforced. Huge transfer of probes here, as it looks like the natural and the main are both mined out for our Protoss player. Where it also looks like the Zerg is still mining from all of their bases. Okay, big push north. These Zerglings going to be melted, I imagine. Trying to do a run by on this base. And it looks like iamsacul might be thinking about taking this base as well, getting another expansion, because he's not mining on a ton of these bases. He's just got these two that he's actually mining from. Okay, so doing a little bit of like parking in the various expansions. Okay, I thought the thing was about to build. Oh my gosh, it is about to build. Okay, so he throws down a hatchery here. That is not long for this world. Not sure if he was aware this army was here. I don't think so. Did get a good cancel off. And just lost the drone. And has a pretty good idea on where this army is. So moving some more of these lurkers up to the high ground. Good spreads. This is a solid game. These two players just batting at each other. But neither player really taking out a base as of yet. But definitely a lot of just army getting melted back and forth. Okay, got Dark Shroud. Lurker's getting underneath it. Not a ton of Zealot support this time, right? So we have a few. The Storm does good work, gets that Lurker on the periphery, but this is going to push back our Protoss player. It was either his option of push back, try to ride this out, or go into all these Sunkens and Zerglings. And so opts to take the high ground. He's remaxing over here. And did you see that? There's some Reavers on the field too. Now I'm curious about where we're at on upgrades. So we do have 2-1, 2 attack, 1 armor. We have at least 1 armor. We're at least 1-1 with melee. There's a Hydralisk, and we're 2-1 with range. So sitting pretty dang good on upgrades for the Protoss players. He's about to hit 3-2. What is this, the energy upgrade? Yeah, so he's trying to bank more of those storms. The storms have been the most potent weapon for him. And he's getting shuttle movement. Okay, increased shuttle movement. We might be seeing more DT drops. I'm wondering if we might see storm drop. Oh, that's right, we have the Reavers on the field. Yeah, that's what it's for. These Reavers, I think, are going to be very scary. Very scary. There's no... Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, cool. So, StyX, I don't know if he anticipated it or saw it, but he's got Scourge all over the place. And he's also doing a nice counter push himself. This game is awesome. And the Lurker spines just go crazy. Now, the Storms are good. Cannons are doing a lot of pesky annoyances. Probably not the trade that StyX was looking for, but that was still really cool. It's just really satisfying to see a bunch of Lurkers go down and just shoot all their spines. Oh, losing these valuable defilers. It does look like he got a nice plague off. These Reavers are sitting at like 1 HP. They still have got like their shields, but this shuttle is ripe for the taking. If it does, if he looks away and a Hydralisk comes up, it's gonna spit on all 3 of these and they're just gonna melt. And look at that. There's a nice little pack of Hydralisks right here. Now, we got a few things going on. We do have a Zergling run by up here trying to deny this base. But then we also had a small group of Zerg kind of checking out this 1 o'clock position, 2 o'clock position that got wiped out en route. So, Zergling's hiding in these mineral patches. I love it. But they're going to get cleaned up real quick. And so now we're seeing the Protoss really start taking over the map. And the problem is that, for the Zerg players, that iamsacul is securing these very strongly. Oh dear, all these Zerglings. Okay, I think he lost sight of where this army was because he just rallied like 3 hatcheries worth of Zerglings right across an engagement area for all these Protoss. Alright, storms weren't terribly effective there. Got a plague off. Again though, getting the reinforcements en route is a little rough for our Zerg player. Another good plague. Oh, brutal storms. Killing all but 1 Hydralisk there. That is a very cost-efficient trade for our Protoss. Now these lurkers are proving to be a huge pain in the butt. If I really wish we could see some way of sniping these observers out. Because I mean, like, yeah, you can still storm these, but it's a little bit more pain in the butt when there's a bunch of them. Seeing like where they actually are, in my opinion, I might be wrong. Energy drain on a couple of them. Decided to make them Archon. And again, storm. It is a rainy day here. Oof. Okay. Well, it stormed everything. It stormed the Protoss units. It stormed the Zerg units. Everything died. And this piece of ground, this pizza slice right here, is the most contested spot on the map. Rightfully so, too, because this is doing a really, really good job of, one, hitting the reinforcements that come out through these little channels, and two, containing the Zerg to just like this quadrant. Whoops, I was trying to draw that quadrant. Because they can't go this way, because that just runs straight into the Protoss bases. Wow, StyX coming back. Loving the aggression here. The old get off my lawn kind of trope. And then we've got a bunch of cannons that he needs to work through. Doesn't have a ton of lurkers. Doesn't have a ton of like huge amounts of firepower. He has these Hydralisks, but these stupid zealots in the storm have just been such a pain in the butt. Yeah, I think if storms go well, this is gonna melt. And there it goes. Yeah. No, that lurker was doing some work. But it does look like iamsacul is going to be able to clean this up pretty quickly. But it does open up, like, that's where his army's at, right? StyX is likely able to strike somewhere else now. And I'm thinking, I don't know, this base is looking pretty juicy. It's not terribly far. It might draw attention towards this base. I'm not even sure if iamsacul knows this one's here. So much of the focus has been kind of on this upper portion of the map. Okay, so maybe he read my thoughts and realized that, okay, this might actually be a juicy thing. And it's not just juicy because it's like one of the only mining bases, got a gajillion probes here, but also because he had just had the entire Protoss army sent up north, right? So like, it's one of those go this way and then I'll hit you way down here where it'll take you a lifetime to even walk there. But with these cannons and these Reavers, like these Dark Shrouds, I think, are doing huge amounts of help. But those Scarabs are still punishing. So, gets a Plague off. And then I'll make it so the next time he comes in, this shuttle, these Reavers, they'll get smoked. Okay, so, huge amount of our lovely High Templar Zealot Dragoon mix up here, up in the top of the map. It is noticed. There is a reaction. And that reaction is more Hydralisks. Love it. Sitting at 2-1 right now. We've got 3-2 for our Zealots. 3-2 for our Dragoons. These guys all have extra energy. And we have more Reaver production going on. I like the Reaver production in the shuttles. I mean, the splash damage from these is huge, and as you can tell from iamsacul and like his expansion methods, like he's got tons of minerals, right? And so if you get enough High Templar, you get Reavers, and then you just get a gajillion of Zealots, which are pretty dang good against Hydralisks in large numbers, especially with their upgrade superiority. This becomes a very, very tough nut to crack. Alright, whole bunch of Hydralisks coming in. The storms. iamsacul has really been able to milk out a lot of damage with those. It's been great to see. Now a whole ton of lurkers heading up here against this one single lonely High Templar who's gonna die, but he got his storm off. So feeling okay. Trying to deny this little reinforced spot, this launching pad, for all of the Protoss production. would be pretty powerful. Not seeing an observer. There it is. There's one beelining back. Now has vision. And the Reaver's going to start lobbing scarabs. Now see, like, this spot right here would be the primo location for one of those Defilers to throw a Dark Swarm. If he could get a Dark Swarm, like, right here and just park a few of his Lurkers there, I think that would be a recipe for breaking into the main. Because all that's here is just a bunch of cannons. Well, I guess there's some High Templar there too. But, like, his army's out here. And he's been using Defilers down in the south part. So, I don't know. Just an observation. Oh my gosh. So much damage. Hey! He listened! I'm telling you, my ideas aren't completely awful. Storm still hurts, though. Okay. Can he walk these up? Got a huge plague. Now, these eggs are just out in the open. This is a pretty important engagement, in my opinion. Because this is one of those, like, confidence things, too. Like, I think that this is actually a pretty good play. But if it feels like it doesn't work, then that can be really frustrating. And right now, iamsacul is just sitting on such a bank as well that he can just reinforce this with so many zealots. Okay. Not bad. Okay, so we're trading armies pretty much 1-for-1 right here on this pizza slice. This pizza slice still very well and strongly held by iamsacul, which means that there's a ton of army supply up there, right? Like, oof. Alright, now opting to push this southern base again, which has been mined out. Much less valuable target now at this point in the game, in my opinion. Even this all-mineral base has been mined out. So really, the push is either get in there and try to kill the production, or get up north and start hampering the ability to mine. Because we're starting to see some mining out as well for StyX, right? We got this base mining out, this one running really low. These 2, 3 have mined out. So we have a lot of idle drones. So now we're getting to that point in the game where money is tough to come by, and iamsacul has a ton banked up. This trail of storms, oh my gosh. Was that all from that one High Templar? Insane. Where are these drones going? Get it, drones. Get in there. Get in that fight. He's got a lot of them. Looks like he's just going to take this by sheer willpower. Get it, drones. Get in that fight. Oh, and there's the GG. Okay, so I think it came down to that economy just being a little overwhelming there. Running out of cash. As you can see, StyX is a little bit low on money. He lost a lot of his workers trying to take this. Great games. Anyway, thanks for watching, and if you're interested in Brood War or StarCraft 2, we'll get some StarCraft 2 matches up as well. I'm just trying to work through this first tournament. Go ahead and join StarCraft Underground. It's for all skill levels, for everyone, and it's growing really fast. And I'll put the Discord link in the description. See you later.